What up?
What up, ladies and gentlemen? Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are in the world and whenever you are tuning into this video. My name is James Porcelli,
I'm Brian Thomas.
and welcome to episode number 13 of season number 9 of the
Hello,
Ruthless Talk
man. 13.
podcast. Episode 13, man. It's like time just freaking flies. Before you blink, it's going to be Christmas. And then before you blink, it's going to
I
be
know, man.
2026.
Yeah,
But
dude.
we got a jam-packed show for you guys today. We got Survivor Series around the corner. We got AEW Blood and Guts right around the corner. Just next week is AEW's big weekly pay-per-view, I guess if that's what you want to call it, on Wednesday night, which is going to be Blood and Guts. We're going to talk a little bit about that and how this could be a big opportunity to alter a WWE PLE that's coming up, and I'll mention that very, very shortly by the end of this episode. And then Triple H saying more BS and more bullshit, some more of his bullshit stew, talking about mainstream, right? WWE is more mainstream because of ESPN and Netflix and Disney. But how well known is WWE to casual fans nowadays compared to where it was in the 90s and even in the early 2000s? Well, we're going to talk and discuss.
Back
And in the 80s,
the height when it was in the 80s, mid 80s or whatever. Yeah,
absolutely. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. So let's dive into this tournament, man. That'll be the first discussion for today. Let's talk about this tournament to determine John Cena's final opponents for Saturday night's main event, which is going to be December 13th. Now, there have been matches that were announced. As far as for Monday Night Raw, the two matches that are going to be participants that are going to be taking place in this tournament are going to be Sheamus versus Shinsuke Nakamura, and then I believe it's going to be Damian Priest and Rusev, I believe. Those are the names that I remember. I don't have any notes in front of me at the moment, but those are the names that I believe that were announced just not too long ago, just this past week. And I've already mentioned this, honestly, on the Saturday night's main event review show. If you guys have not checked that out, it's on all of our platforms right now, me talking about Saturday night's main event. And that's when this announcement was made. You know, John Cena talking about, oh, this is the tournament that's going to determine who my final opponent is. And Brian, this could not be more fucking lazy. Lazy is honestly putting it nicely as far as this situation, man. You know, like we take this retirement tour. We've taken everything that we have done with this retirement tour. We've dug such a hole. So now WWE's just like, oh, let's just keep digging. Let's just see how far we can dig this hole. It's just like it, and people are gonna. I've already heard the excuses already, man. So we're like, oh, well, John Cena only has 4 dates left. You can't really tell a proper story, dude. He's gonna be on. He's gonna be on. He's gonna be on Monday Night Raw for the next freaking 2 weeks. You can set something up, some sort of angle for 2 freaking weeks. You got Survivor Series. You can set something up to where if it's going to be, I don't know, possibly Gunther. Gunther is supposed to be making a return at some point. They've already have somewhat teased it. There's already been talks and rumors about it. We need something for Gunther to return to remind how much of a true villain that he is. Put Gunther in this angle. But instead, Brian, we're just going to be absolutely lazy, and we're just going to put up a tournament that we're going to fill up for several weeks, and we're going to take out some people that we don't use in catering, right? People like a Shinsuke, people like freaking Sheamus and all of these people, and we're going to throw them into this tournament. And guys, I don't care how many dates John Cena has left. You mean to tell me that he's going to be on 2 Monday Night Raws in a Survivor Series? Bro, that is still... If this company, with the amount of resources, the utilities, that you could still utilize a proper story for John Cena for him to finally walk out the door, there is no excuse but for you to now put out this tournament and say, well, there's nothing else we can do. I'm sorry, that's fucking bullshit. And even though, right, to see who even wins this tournament, whoever this schmuck is, to where it could be a Gunther, right? Maybe a Braun Breaker, probably not, because he's going to probably be involved in War Games with the Vision, with, of course, Roman Reigns and possibly LA Knight and all in that entire situation, right? But the question is, who in this tournament, who's going to win this tournament, are they going to truly be elevated? Like, are they going to be in this match to be like, all right, who on our roster is ready now to be given the rocket now, or who a returning superstar that truly needs a big push, like a Gunther,
Gunther,
right?
yeah.
Gunther, a
That's
guy that is
it.
going to
It's a one of one. It's Gunther. Yeah.
it's Gunther, right? Like, how
Yeah.
can we make Gunther return in the most just interesting way possible, in the most interesting, very climactic way possible? You put him in a really cool angle with John Cena, but instead you just do this tournament.
Yep.
It's just lazy. It's easy way to fill up a show. So I don't want to hear, guys, about the amount of dates that John Cena has left. He's here for 2 Monday Night Raw shows, and he's going to be at Survivor Series, and then you have the final match. With the amount of resources, utilities that this company has to offer, there's no excuse for this company to say, oh, well, there's nothing else that we can do. It's bullshit, man. It's absolute freaking bullshit. If Gunther does win this tournament, right, is he going to be looked as such prior to when he was last on WWE television, right? Because we've done this before, Brian. We've done this with John Cena. We've done this with John Cena before, to where he's had to put a plethora of people over. Guys like Solo Sikoa. How's Solo Sikoa doing right now? He's part of an MFT's faction. He's doing somewhat better.
Yeah, but he fell off for a bit there. Now
that's what I'm saying. And they're trying to experiment him with this whole MFT shtick. But shortly after that matchup that he had with Cena at Crown Jewel, he completely fell off. They had this lose 40 matches in a row. Austin Theory. Do you remember when Austin Theory defeated John Cena at WrestleMania for that U.S. Championship? And guys, what is Austin Theory doing now? What was he doing shortly after that? The answer is nothing. So even whoever wins this tournament, do we even give this company the benefit of the doubt to say, oh, yeah, we're going to take Gunther. He's going to come back. He's going to beat John Cena. And then he's going to truly be elevated to where he was. And people are going to really start to give a shit and care about Gunther. Is that really what's going to happen? To be honest with you, the answer is no. So, and that's pretty much all I got, Brian. So what are your takes, man, as far as this tournament? Who could possibly win this tournament? What are your takes, man?
Yeah, man. I mean, this is just piss poor, dude. It, like, and Grant, I'm not watching it, so, but I go back to this Cena heel turn, man, and our podcast, when that initially happened, man. Initially, dude, I was so on board with that. Like, and I've been well documented on this podcast. Like, I've never been a fan of Cena. The ruthless aggression era, not my cup of tea, but I appreciate Cena for what he was in that era. And here you get to a moment where it's no different from Hulk Hogan joining the NWO. You have a 20-year face run here in Cena, who has been the ultimate good guy, 2 decades running, and it was sitting in your lap, and they have completely shit the bed every which way possible with that. I mean, it is garbage. And that's unfortunate for Cena, even as much as I'm not that much of a fan of Cena, but I mean, dude, I recognize what he's meant to the industry, and to see it end like this is just fuck, dude. But really, I mean, you had a Hulk Hogan NWO moment sitting right there in your lap, and to see where it's gone, and now you're right, we get to 4 dates left, and I don't care what anybody fucking says about what any opponent he fights or wrestles. The essence of wrestling is and always has been the story behind it.
Yes,
and y'all have, 4 dates left. Whatever story they even attempt to put out now is going to be trash, because you're going to try to fit it into not even a month long. You said you got this tournament here, so that's going to go on for I guess till Survivor Series, probably.
At least till Survivor Series, yeah.
Yeah. And then you get, okay, then you got 2 weeks, when you know what the match is going to be. It's shit already. It is shit. Like, hey, maybe they go out there and put on a banger of a match. Good on them. But the essence of what pro wrestling is, this is garbage. And the fact that y'all are eating it up and like, oh, $300 ticket, sure. Here, fucking, I'll pay more. Like, y'all are, I mean, clown shoes, man. Like, but it's y'all's money, And for Triple H, like, look, this fucking bastard. In all seriousness, look, mainstream, great. You got to deal with ESPN, Netflix, what the fuck ever. You're making this reality show, that reality show. You're going on this podcast. Like, you're saturating the fucking market with your bullshit. Like, you could say Donald Trump is mainstream. He's a goddamn dumpster fire. Congratulations. So fucking what? You're mainstream. You're fucking garbage. Bullshit. Yeah. Get the fuck out of here. Cena, hey, much love and respect for 20 plus years in the wrestling industry, but I think even in his heart of hearts, in a wrestler and knowing what wrestling is, this ain't it, and he knows it. He's got to know that. Know that in his heart of hearts, man. Yeah, this ain't it.
It's definitely not it, man. It's lazy, and it's just it's a disservice again to Cena that, again, it's just, you look back at this entire retirement tour from, we go back to just from the heel turn all the way up until this point. It's been botched. It's been incredibly botched. And this is
like
just
every which way, man.
And this is just the shit turd on top of everything as far as this tournament. Here, we're going to make you go out and wrestle whoever this person is in this tournament, whoever wins this tournament, and then maybe you'll shake hands, and then we're gonna over embellish how it's a passing of the torch, Cena's passing of the torch. Right. Okay, and guess what? A couple weeks, months later, bro, they're gonna be booked probably even worse than they were before being a part of this match or this tournament, whether that is a Gunther or whoever it is, bro. It's just the honest truth, because again, guys, we have done this before with John Cena. We have asked this dude to put plenty of people over in the past, like Austin Theory and Solo Sikoa, just to name a few. And you expect me to be excited because, we're going to get a bunch of good wrestling matches, right? Banger wrestling matches, great in-ring performances that are just going to do nothing but fill up the show. And for whoever wins this match, or wins this tournament, I should say, are they going to truly be elevated? Is beating John Cena or just putting somebody
not
in this scenario,
the storyline that takes 2-3 months to develop. If you had done that, maybe so. But going into you got 2 weeks to tell a story and then you have a match. No.
Yeah, man. If you were creative enough, bro, even with 4 dates left for John Cena, you could have found some semblance of a story, something. But no, they've done, Brian. They packed it in and said, you know what? Let's just throw out a tournament, and everybody's going to eat it up. A fucking tournament. That's what we have to now look forward to. So
I'll even say this, and I guess they haven't announced everybody, but just what you named: who? Sheamus, Nakamura, Priest, and Rusev,
I believe. Yeah.
Okay, so those 4 people we know. Okay, ain't a damn one of them, and no shade to any of them. But and correct me if I'm wrong, I assume Priest is still a face, right? He's not a heel character.
Damian Priest is a face. Yep, you're correct.
So it can't be Priest. He's the only out of those 4 you just named, a guy that is maybe on the cusp that you could, use that. But he's a face. That ain't going to work. And then you're Sheamus, Rusev, Nakamura, people that the WWE has not cared about in fucking years. and what? Right. We're supposed to pretend, maybe Sheamus can win this tournament, or maybe Nakamura. And get the fuck out of here. That is the laziest goddamn thing ever, man. Yeah. Fuck that. Yeah. And so that's why I say Gunther, is the only guy that I can think of that is kind of there. He's already established to some point that if you're not going to really be telling a story, it's Gunther. It's got to be Gunther.
Yeah. No, 100%, man. So let's move on to Triple H, man. Once again, Triple H is doing what he does best, which is, not be in the writer's room. He's just on more podcasts, right? More podcasts, more interviews, because, Triple H, he's the face of the company, right? So he's just going to put his face on everything that is pretty much, to the casual viewing audience, right? Instead of putting, maybe LA Knight in there, Drew McIntyre in there. No, let's Triple H has got to be the face of everything, right? Because it's his era, and this is the Triple H era. Like, get the fuck out of here. But he continues to just talk in circles, and I'm going to get into the main discussion that he said in this interview. But he was saying some dumb shit about how gimmicks and characters no longer work in WWE, and it's about being authentic. What does that even mean, bro? Bro, you built
authentic
a legacy
in the character, dumbass.
You built a legacy being authentic because of a character you fucking played, you moron. This is why I can't. It's just like this dude. I can't even take it seriously. This dude talks in so much circles. He thinks that people are gonna buy into the shit that he says. It's like, I read these articles, Brian, and I legit lose brain cells listening to this dude talk. It's like, what are you talking about? You built that's what professional wrestling is found upon.
And I don't know if he remembers, but even his character, changed and morphed over he played different characters, Jesus Christ, Triple H, what the fuck are you talking about?
I mean, the dude continues to talk in circles, man. It's like he knows he's backed into a corner, so he's trying to justify everything. But yet everything that comes out of his mouth makes absolutely zero sense, and that's just one of them. And then he says something else. This again was that he said in the same interview. He says, "Oh, we don't write the shows based on that it will be a great match. We based it on the story we can create." What stories, bro, have you created other than Drew McIntyre Punk?
Cody Rhodes' story, I guess.
I guess Cody will be with the bloodline, but that started with Vince McMahon and Paul Heyman. The Judgment Day. I'm not going to give you the Judgment Day. That was a Vince McMahon experiment. What else besides that, from start to finish? Right,
what has been Triple H's?
What has been Triple H's true experiment that worked? It was Drew McIntyre and Punk. That's it. You cannot name me anything else that was even close to being that consistent. So you talk about you don't write for the great wrestling matches, but everything of what your actions tell us is that all you do is just appease the audience, right? With great wrestling matches. That's what you're doing with the US Championship, with all the open challenges, right? Because you're booking for great wrestling matches, right? With Ilya Dragunov and Sami Zayn. Like, good wrestling matches is clearly the issue with this company. That's clearly the issue, right? So again, man, this dude continuing to talk in circles. He spends more time talking in circles and talking a bunch of BS on these podcasts instead of actually working, instead of actually getting creative. And we wonder why the product sucks. It's statements like this on these podcasts is exactly why the product sucks.
Yeah.
But, and this is where I want to, put the true, icing on the cake as far as this discussion. And Brian, I'll send this off to you. Now, I already made a post about it, and this is where I want everybody to listen. Our viewing audience, our audio people who listen to us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, right? We talk about how Triple H stated that, WWE is now more mainstream than ever before. And I'm guessing what he means by that, because now we're on the big, we're on the big networks like, ESPN and, and Disney and freaking Netflix, right? And more people can watch this product, right? More people are able to assess, or the product is more accessible to a certain viewing audience now more than ever. Right. And to a degree, factually, yeah, that's true. But how well known is the product today? You make this product more accessible to people, but do people truly care? Do people really know about these wrestlers other than you, Triple H, that you just love to put your face on everything as far as, again, freaking narrations, interviews, podcasts, voiceovers, right? So I spew this challenge to everybody, right? I want everybody to go up to somebody that is a non-wrestling fan, right? That knows not much about the wrestling product. And I want you to go up to this part. It could be anybody, right? And it could be a mid-carder, it could be a tag team guy, it could be someone in the women's division, right? And the person that you ask, it could be a family relative, it could be a coworker, it could be significant other, could be your neighbor across the street, whoever it is, right? I challenge everybody to tell that person to name 5 wrestlers that have debuted over the last 10 years. And I'm not talking about Cena. I'm not talking about Randy Orton. That debuted in the last from 2015 till now.
Right.
That have debuted in WWE. So now people will mention, Hogan, Rock, but no. The last 10 years.
Cold.
Some people will just
Roman
say,
Reigns.
Cena, Orton, Brock Lesnar. No.
Yeah,
the last 10 years, right? The last 10 years, right? Because, Brian, you probably know this is more than I do, right? Everybody, even still to this day, knew who Stone Cold was. People knew who The Rock was. People knew who Undertaker was. People knew who Hulk Hogan was, right? Not just the wrestling hardcore audience.
And it did trickle down to the mid-carders. I mean, Edge and Christian, the Hardy Boys.
Edge and Christian, right?
I mean, Mick Foley.
Foley. Everybody knew all of these guys back in the day because they were mainstream. They were well-known. Guys, you cannot sit here and tell me that there are at least 5 people that a non-wrestling fan, that a true casual will look at this current roster or will try to memorize this current roster and they'll be like, Roman Reigns. Well, nope. I won't even count Roman Reigns because Roman Reigns, he's been doing this well over a decade. Cody Rhodes has been doing this well over a decade. CM Punk.
And that was all still back when Vince was running the show. Had nothing to do with Triple H.
Exactly, right? Yep. So, again, man, we talk about, Triple H saying, it's more mainstream, more people can tune into it. But do people care about it? Is it more, well known? Do people know about all of these individuals, right? So again, man, I challenge everybody that is watching or listening to this right now, a coworker, significant other, a family relative, a best friend, whoever it is, have them name 5 wrestlers in this current product today that debuted over the last 10 years. And I promise you, I would be shocked if people can name maybe 2 or maybe 3. And I've already had people that couldn't even name 1 already. If you've seen social media, right, people have named, like Rollins and Roman Reigns. And like, that proves my point. Nobody, hardly anybody. If we were to take, Brian, just a sample size of the people of North Carolina and say, hey, name me professional wrestlers in WWE.
And think about that in North Carolina, because we're down here. This is wrestling territory.
It's wrestling, right?
Yeah.
And I promise you, bro, people would be trying to pick at straws or trying their hardest to come up with maybe 1 or 2 people, bro.
Yep.
And that right there proves my point to where, it might be mainstream, it might be more accessible. But people don't know who these wrestlers are because they're not larger than life, right? The only person that maybe comes to mind, Brian, and I'm just really trying to be fair, is Rhea Ripley.
Yeah,
that's maybe
that's
it.
Probably it.
That's probably it.
Yeah.
Think about that. Just Rhea Ripley. We talk about this women's division and we paint the narrative because it's true that the women have honestly been the major bright spot of this company. Yep. And even though, listen, I'm not a fan of Rhea Ripley, never really truly been a fan of Rhea.
I'll give it to her. Still hanging on there. I love you,
she has a lot of value.
I feel you.
She has a lot of value, right? But again, though, even though I'm not a fan of hers, I will acknowledge how much value she does possess. I respect the fact of how she has, brought a certain fan base to what she does. Like, much love to that. So if people want to give Rhea Ripley
specifically,
right, for the women,
at
100%. So Rhea Ripley, hey, no shade, man. Honestly, I could see Rhea Ripley being a household name for a lot of female wrestling fans, maybe casual fans. Oh yeah, that's Rhea Ripley, right? So that's a name that would make sense. But outside of that, bro, who else? You're gonna tell me that people are gonna think, Sami Zayn, right? Kevin Owens, John Gargano, Tommaso Ciampa, Aleister Black.
And I would even say that I would even say, Owens and Zayn, they might be right there around that cusp, but were they before 2015?
Well, they've started wrestling way over 10 years.
Right. I don't remember when they debuted in WWE.
I'm pretty sure they debuted. Well, actually, I don't even think Kevin Owens would be available. I think Kevin Owens started.
That's what I'm saying. He's been more than 10 years.
Kevin Owens, I think, started in 2015, I believe, actually. I think that was around, 2015, 2016. I think same thing as far as Sami Zayn is concerned.
I know. Yeah, right around there. Yeah.
So I'm telling you, man. Like, so again, we talk about how mainstream it is.
Oh,
We
that's
talk
another
about
guy too that we haven't. Sorry to cut you off. And I know Owens was out. Kevin Owens. Has anybody, as far as a last match for Cena?
Well, Kevin Owens is still banged up from his neck injury, so who
That's right,
knows
because it was the neck. So yeah, sorry, I forgot what the injury was. Yeah, he's going
Yeah,
to be out for.
yeah,
Yeah,
Kevin
he
Owens
might not even
might
be
be
able to.
done. Yeah,
Yeah,
Kevin Owens honestly
right.
might be done, and much
Yep,
love to Kevin
much
Owens,
love,
of
much
course.
love. Yeah.
But again, guys, like this proves my point of the fact that WWE in the next, again, give it time to where 5-10 years from now, WWE is not going to have anything to latch onto. Look at the WrestleMania promotional ad, bro. Brock Lesnar, CM Punk, Cody Rhodes, and Roman Reigns, right? Guys that listen, that should be a main focal point of your product.
Sure.
We're
Yes.
not second guessing that. But that right there, if they are the only thing that you can rely on for people to sell tickets and to create buzz and to create headlines, right? And if you continue to liquidate, because I keep mentioning this word, Brian, to everybody, this company, along with Triple H, they liquidate the cycle that Vince McMahon has already created. Goldberg, Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns, right? Cody Rhodes,
and they're going to run that into the ground,
and they're going to run it into the ground. And honestly, I don't even give Cody Rhodes, credit to WWE, because Cody Rhodes was making a name for himself, prior back to WWE and what he did in AEW. So I'm not even going to give Cody Rhodes, a pat on the back for WWE. Right? Again, CM Punk, man, CM Punk has already made well of a name for himself. He's been doing this even though he was gone for over a decade. He debuted well over probably 15 plus years ago, man.
Oh,
so once again,
so yeah.
I think it's 19 to be exact. I think 19 years.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then we go, and I want to mention this too, Brian, and I'll send this off to you, and we'll get into AEW, right? SmackDown, guys, this past Friday, and I know it was Halloween, and people are going to make the excuses, right? Like, I'm just sitting here waiting for the excuses, because SmackDown, ladies and gentlemen, for the first time on the main roster on SmackDown television, they fell under a 1 million on global television on the USA Network. Under 1 million.
There you go.
And here's the thing, bro. We talk about, oh, well, it's Halloween. It's the World Series, guy. If you look at the trajectory, the downfall of WWE, this is not just for one specific day. This is not just for a baseball game. It's a consistent pattern. Thank you, Brian. It's a consistent pattern that continues to get worse and worse. But you know what we do, Brian, as a community? We move this goalpost and we continue to stretch it out to see how far it's going to fucking go. And guess what, bro? And I'm going to get into AEW and I'll save it for later on as far as AEW and their numbers and how, again, if AEW can really, truly get things on track, I mean, who knows? We talk about NXT. We look at SmackDown's numbers, bro. I mean, they could easily catch up to them if they continue to really turn on the afterburners, but we'll get into that. But everything, man, as far as numbers, metrics, even merchandise sales, dude, you look at the last 10 years of what this company has produced in, the performance center, to where everybody is learning how to talk and learning how to cut promos and learning how to wrestle and learning how to do a freaking moonsault and a suicide dive. But you look at, and Brian, you hit the nail on the head last week, every single character, to where everybody's talented. We're not talking about anybody's talent, but Brian, you hit the nail on the head last week. There are so many interchangeable characters in this company to where nobody is larger than life. And we talk about stories, right? Oh, well, we book for the stories, though. We don't book for the matches, though, James. Okay, what are the stories, right? Freaking what? Logan Paul joining the Vision, right? Is that really interesting, people?
Did that happen?
Logan Paul.
Oh no!
And the Vision.
Oh, so it's Brock. Braun and Logan.
It's Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed, Paul Heyman, and Logan Paul. joint at the hip, and it's going to lead to probably Survivor Series. And again, well, James, Seth Rollins got injured, bro. This is your answer to do the most random shit possible with just Logan Paul aligning himself with Heyman in the vid. Like, cut the shit, man. Honestly,
yeah,
like what else?
That was a good decision I made to cut. There's nothing I'm missing there.
Yeah, no, you're nothing. And dude, and you know what's hilarious? You know what? I'll just send this off to you, Brian. You know what's funny? They tried to do this angle to where they teased that Logan Paul was going to turn babyface, to where he was fighting side by side with CM Punk, because CM Punk in the beginning of the show, had some extracurricular activity going with the Vision. Logan Paul, he left the ring and he was shoved by Braun Breaker. So there's a little bit of controversy there. And then Logan Paul decided to help CM Punk fend off the Vision. So they were teasing a babyface turn. Bro, what fucking idiot truly thought that at the end of the night, because Logan Paul is just a naturally hated person and a character, what sense would it make to where, like, oh, we're gonna the landscape is gonna change around WWE? That's another quote. We're gonna turn Logan Paul babyface. Who the fuck is thinking that?
My God.
that's your cliffhanger? That Logan Paul he turned his back on Punk. This was such a shocking turn of events, bro. Who is saying that? Who is really sitting there freaking on a Monday night? If that's your angle, bro, that tells me everything I need to know, because we're doing the most random shit just to do it. We're going to turn Nikki Bella heel because she's attached to the hip with Stephanie Vacuur. Stephanie Vacuur needs a challenger,
Bella,
right?
And so Bella is still, Nikki
Bella's still there. Yeah, she's
really?
there pretty much every other week, but she's been attached to the hip with Stephanie Vacuur. They're doing a little angle with freaking Judgment Day with Roxanne Perez and with Raquel Rodriguez. And they had this little this little conversation, Nikki Bella and Stephanie, about, hey, like, I'm sorry, I've been off my game. Right. I'm so sorry. Like, I should be doing better. And Stephanie's giving her like this pep talk, like, you're Nikki Bella, you paved the way and all of that stuff. And Brian, I'm telling you right now, it would not shock me for how they're trying to spin this. They're just going to turn Nikki Bella heel, because that's the answer for everything that we're doing. Because they just did
you can see that coming.
They just did a turn, bro. They just did a turn for Jade Cargill. And not even 2 weeks later, now we're just going to turn Nikki Bella heel. Guys, this is all they have to create buzz, to create just something to talk about. This is all that they have. It's just to turn people. This company, they don't give a shit. Triple H doesn't give a shit. And if you don't give a shit, then Triple H will just tell you to fuck off and that you're just not a real fan. When there's plethora of fans, by the way, Paul Levesque, that have been watching this product and have been passionate about this product way before you even freaking stepped foot in this company. So I don't want to hear about how you're on this freaking high horse and you telling people, oh, well, if you don't like it, then you could screw off. You're not a real wrestling fan. No, you're not going to tell us shit, bro. We're going to tell you exactly how we feel about this product. Again, just fix it. Just fucking fix it. And if you can't fix it, then go find somebody else that can.
Yeah.
And that's and again, bro, and even if he was to put the effort in, Brian, I don't even think he's creative enough to even make those changes.
He is not.
And he's not. And that exact and again, bro, we look at numbers, we look at, again, bro, and I go back to the main point of this entire spiel. Go ask a non-wrestling fan in the last 10 years, who do they know that's debuted in the last 10 years? Who are the stars in the last 10 years that this company has built up? Is it Braun Breaker? You telling me that people are going to know? Yeah, that's Braun Breaker. Aleister Black, Damian Priest, right? Freaking who else? What? A Bianca Belair? Maybe a Bianca. She was on freaking. She was on Minute Maid Fruit Punch on a freaking and even the commercials, Brian, right? Too, like, Cricket Wireless and Slim Jim. Notice how that's all during WWE television. Right.
You don't see it otherwise.
You don't see it 24/7.
Right.
Like, everything you see 24/7 is Triple H's freaking bullshit face. That's what you see.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, that's my challenge to everybody, dude. To where if people cannot even name 5 wrestlers that have debuted in the last 10 years, John Cena doesn't count. Randy Orton doesn't count. Brock Lesnar does not count. Not even Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins does not count. If they can't even name 3. Shoot, if we talk about 5, not even 3, And
Probably not even
that
3. They would probably start struggling at 2,
that
maybe.
that would prove my entire point, and that tells me everything that I need to know about how, even though it's mainstream, nobody knows about these wrestlers, and nor do they even give a shit, unfortunately. Brian, I know that was a lot. We'll get into some AEW very shortly, but what are your thoughts?
No, that's and this is why I say, and I've been saying it, man. Like, this is why it is truly so disgusting to me, man. Because wrestling fans, if you want to sit back and say, "Oh, it's just entertainment, enjoying it," right? I get that. I truly, truly do. You have to seriously sit back and look at what these individuals are actually doing. Who are they in the rooms with? Right? Triple H specifically. Who's his mother-in-law and Stephanie? Where's Linda McMahon sitting? Right? You think that, and you watch, right, what Triple H does in these interviews, right? Where there's a movie, and I can't remember the movie, but I love this quote, and I've used it forever. And I imagine it was probably like in a drunk bar scene, and you got some drunk guy just, yapping all out the mouth, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the other guy, whatever, it's a quote somewhat to the effect of, being full of sound and fury, but signifying nothing. Because he can talk and talk and talk, and you're right, he'll talk in circles. He ain't answering a goddamn thing. What does Donald Trump do? And Linda McMahon and the whole this is reality. This is happening. And you can try to separate it all you want, people. That's his family. You think Linda, you think they ain't over at dinner, having dinners and just phone conversations? It's gaslighting. That's what the fuck they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
That's what the fuck it is, man. And Triple H is just as slimy as the rest of them.
Yep.
Grant, he's not Linda, doesn't have the power sitting in the White House. Yeah, fair. He's garbage.
Yeah.
He's taking the money for profit, putting his goddamn face front and center. He's garbage. Period.
Yeah. And the people that he's freaking kicked to the curb, like China, I've mentioned that many times before, to get to the top, right? What he did to Test to take him out of that storyline that Stephanie McMahon was a part of back in the day, right? So even Triple H was even showing you again just how much of a kiss ass he was back then as a performer.
You go back and people have talked about it, and Rock himself, and maybe 20 years removed, they've made amends. Triple H and Shawn tried to fuck Rock out of, they tried to bury him. Mm-hmm. They did.
Yeah.
And even, we talk about this, the post and him putting himself on the, front and center. I mean, Jesus Christ. All ego Ethan's Page's gimmick, that should have been Triple H's. Because I challenge, you have the, challenge of trying to name 2 wrestlers, whatever. Go back in Triple H's era, right? When he was the wrestler, the main eventer, and you go back and look throughout the years, every pay-per-view, how many times was he on that poster? Front and center on that poster.
Front center, yeah.
And still, 20 fucking years later, great, you're head of creative, and you're still putting yourself front and center.
Yep.
And like you mentioned, the rest of that poster, right? It's people that are stars that have earned their stripes in this business, but their prime was 10 to 20 years ago. Where are the women? Where are the young up the next generation? No, you put your face there instead. That's the bullshit. That's the ego right there. That's the narcissism right there.
Yeah. 100%, man. 100%. It hasn't even shown again being a suit and tie. It's shown throughout the years, even as a performer. As I mentioned again, the Test storyline.
Wrestling is a cutthroat business, and especially
it is.
Everybody was fucking or trying. There wasn't many honest people.
No, absolutely not.
Right.
Yeah.
But he surely was at the top of that. Like, yep, Any way he could weasel
if
his way
you,
in, cut this person off. Yep, he's doing it.
I promise you, bro, if you were to probably ask a bunch of wrestlers that have worked for that company, if you were to tell them who is the biggest kiss ass in that company over the last 20 years, they would probably name Triple H. Is
Maybe.
probably one of the top answers, honestly, because again, the fact that he is a part of that family and what he's
Yep.
done to be a part of that family, like, again, go ask
And
people
that doesn't take out, and this is not me saying I am not questioning any true love he may have for Stephanie McMahon or Stephanie may have for him. Not questioning that at all. I'm questioning or not even I'm disgusted in the manner they went about it. Period. Full stop.
Yeah, man, it's just, I hate to, sound like a broken record every time I talk about this dude, but like, it just needs to be, it just needs to be said, and it's just the truth. And now more than ever, bro, numbers, statistics are backing up just how awful the product is because of Triple H's own pettiness, his stubbornness, and how his ego can't get out of his own way because of his ego. And he's no better than Vince McMahon. Oh, well, James, are you saying that Vince McMahon should be back in WWE? No, motherfucker. No. But what I will acknowledge,
dumbasses, critical thinking.
Right. But what I will acknowledge is that I do appreciate a lot of the little things that Vince McMahon has done for this business. For the business positively at his peak when he was the head of creative and when he was truly running things in WWE. But no, guys, I'm not saying that, you think Vince McMahon should be back in No, dipshit. Freaking honestly.
Not a McMahon period, if we're being honest.
Period. I said it since day one. Thank you. I said this since day one. A McMahon period, whether that is even a Shane McMahon. Shane McMahon,
maybe
right, because I just have so much respect for Shane.
Yes, he's a different cat. He's the black sheep of that family. Yep.
But outside of that, honestly, the company is better off without a McMahon in charge, period.
Yes.
Honestly.
Yep.
You need people that obviously know the business, that are passionate, that that's going to put in effort. Who are those people I don't know. You can freaking ask, a freaking Brian Gerwitz, whoever the hell it is, right? But creative writers
that I do have, seriously, in whatever role he may want or whatever, Chris Jericho. As I mean, he's winding down. We know he's coming to the end. I mean, a creative writer, maybe. I think he could probably do it pretty damn good. But again, he would have. He's also a wrestler. The egos, the blah blah blah. I mean, that you'd have to deal with that, obviously. But yeah, Jericho, maybe.
Yeah. So, well, anyway, let's get into some AEW, man. AEW Blood and Guts is next week. I've always been, interested now more than ever as far as the AEW product has to offer. And I always, definitely go back. Like just this past week, dude, like I think I've probably played the clip about maybe 10,000 times of Brody King punching a hole through a door and grabbing onto Stokely as Stokely is screaming for dear life to get out of the room.
That was good, man.
It was good, dude. It's such good shit. And listen, Stokely, man, shout out to him. He's really starting to grow on me now more than ever. So shout out to him. But next week, man, they got AEW Blood and Guts coming up. And they don't have just one Blood and Guts match. They now have two, one for the men and one for the ladies. And, I don't know everybody that's going to be in it. Specifically for the men, you got the Death Riders, you got Darby Allin, and I believe you pretty much have the conglomeration, which is people like Mark Briscoe, Orange Cassidy, Roderick Strong, Kyle O'Reilly, those guys, right? And then for the women, you have Marina Shafir and Megan Bayne. You got Sky Blue and Julia Hart. And of course, you got Mercedes Moné, a part of that team. The other team, of course, you have people like Chris Statlander, like Tony Storm, and so many other people. Willow Nightingale is a part of it. And we all know that they are going to tear
Harley
the house
Cameron
down.
Probably would
Harley
be,
Cameron, I believe, is a part of it. I think Queen Eminata is a part of it as well.
Yep.
So the one thing, man, about AEW is that when it comes to these types of shows, these weekly pay-per-views or just pay-per-views in general, man, they give your money's worth, dude.
Yeah,
and
they
this
do. Always have.
And this could not come at a better time because this is right before WWE Survivor Series, and we talk about the competition that AEW needs to be when it comes to WWE. This is a great way to alter WWE Survivor Series with their little war games shtick, right? And because now when we watch AEW and we know exactly what all of these people are going to do and the headlines that they're going to create, and probably, the people that are going to cry like Moxley, dunking freaking Darby's head in a freaking fish tank. But I digress, right?
Yeah.
But again, the moments that they're going to create in this match, the buzz that's going to be created, and then freaking Triple H, he's going to have to fiddle with his nuts and be like, well, what do I do now? Dusty? Dusty.
Where's Dusty? Exactly.
Where's William Regal? Where's Shawn Michaels?
They can't get Dusty Rhodes back there fast enough, man. You better call up the ghost of Dusty, because God damn.
This man is a great opportunity for AEW, man, to truly to truly have not just a really good show. I mean, the show, I think overall is going to be damn solid for what these performers are going to do. But I talk about viewership, man. I talk about viewership, and give it time to where we look at SmackDown and we look at now that they're under 1 million for the first time. SmackDown's under 1 million for the first time in WWE television history. Who were to say that even the fact that AEW, now that they've been in stiff competition with NXT, right? Who's to say that AEW, if they can't crack over a 600,000, 700,000, maybe for the show, do I dare say that they go over 800K for this show? I mean, could be a stretch, and it's by the brink. They're about 300,000 to 200,000 short just from SmackDown. That's where the conversation, man, truly gets interesting. Because if AEW can take this wave and use it as true momentum following up from this show, then this is where Tony Khan needs to pick up the ball, because lately the ball has been fumbled, and sometimes Tony Khan just doesn't want to pick it up. This is a great way for Tony Khan to where he sees that football, on the ground. He's the only person around to pick up that ball. He's just got to dive head first and go
clear path to the end zone, baby.
A clear.
You got blockers in front of you. Yep.
Exactly, man. So this is a great way for AEW to truly alter WWE Survivor Series. And we talk about how the war game shtick is, honestly, I'll be honest with you, I think it's just kind of really not necessarily overrated, but sometimes it's just very stale. Absolutely.
Right. Yep.
But the amount of, again, just spots and moments that we know that AEW is going to put onto both of these matchups, especially for the ladies. I think the ladies are honestly going to outperform men, if I'm being honest with you. Then we look at this show, and then we go over to Survivor Series, and then we turn over to Triple H. He's like, well, Hunter, how are we going to top that? And he's got to fiddle with his nuts and be like, well, I don't know. Again, Dusty, Shawn Michaels.
Can we get Stephen A in the storyline here soon? Let's call up Stephen A.
So Logan Paul, right? Seth Rollins is injured. Let's put in Logan Paul, right? He can do a flip off of the cage, right? He'll do a freaking suicide dive off the top of the cage. That's really going to get people to talk about it. That's probably another. We talk about Logan Paul, right? We name 5 wrestlers that have debuted over the last 10 years. Yeah, Logan Paul. There you go. Logan Paul wrestles, right?
Right. Yeah, that'll be one a gimme. But again, because it's not even really having to do with wrestling,
exactly.
Again, he made his name elsewhere.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to Blood and Guts, man. Again, a show that I'm honestly, man, really, truly looking forward to. I'm looking forward to how the ladies are going to perform in this match. You got Hangman, of course, going up against Hobbs, and there's some other matches as well, with the Hurt Syndicate.
Wait, is it against Hobbs for Blood and Guts?
It's against, not for the championship, but it's just, I believe it's just a match. Yeah.
Okay.
Because Samoa Joe is going to fight Hangman at Full Gear at AEW.
Okay, that's right. Because that's the Full Gear. That's right.
Exactly. So look, man, we know that AEW thrives in these types of scenarios, in weekly pay-per-views in general. But the true question is, when AEW does deliver, and when they do create those headlines, when they do create that buzz, then WWE, their backs are going to be up against the wall. And then we're going to look at Triple H and be like, hey, What do you got for us, man? Because that's what AEW gave us. How are you going to top that? That's why, guys, competition and why companies like AEW and alternatives matter to professional wrestling. It's to stick it to people like Triple H and WWE and says, hey, I turn over to you. Let's see if you can freaking do better. So it could truly alter it, man. Will they? Time will only tell. But Brian, any thoughts, man, on Blood and Guts? What are you looking forward to? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, all of the up and down the card. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, I just got to mention again from this past Wednesday on Dynamite. I mean, the opening segment with the Ops, Tony Schiavone, Hangman, and then Hook and Kingston.
Yeah.
And I didn't see, so that wound up being the main event, which I haven't seen yet. But again, it's just one of those things, man, where Samoa Joe just fucking killing it, man. And I know there's a couple things he said as he was addressing Tony Schiavone that I can't remember now, but there was one that was like funny as shit. And then just him playing that character, man. He's so good in it. And even, a guy like Hook, who I haven't been, he's still a young guy, he's still growing and coming into his own. But the back and forth that Joe and Hook had Wednesday, fucking loved it, man.
Sure.
I could say, so many things about the women, whether it's Willow or, Harley Cameron or Monet, I mean, just Statlander, all of them in different aspects, over the past 6 months, couple years. This is the professional wrestling I want to see going forward. Like, period. Like, this is it. They are right there on the cusp. Sometimes it is a matter of consistency and this, that, and the other, figuring it out, as they're all learning too. A lot of these people, a Statlander, a Orange Cassidy, a Hook, whatever. Mm-hmm. They had never been in these positions before. This was their first time being on the TV and becoming a superstar, Mm-hmm. And a lot of them are fucking knocking it out of the park, man. Like they really, really, really are. And so I say all that to just, AEW has really got something going here. And I say that if they can maintain this and keep, slow build, week after week, everybody right now remains healthy. And then you get a Swerve and fucking Ospreay coming back. Watch out. When those two come back, assuming everything, is kind of staying the course, there's no major injuries to the top stars. When those two get back, watch out. Watch out.
100%, man. So, man, we, Triple H, what did he call what would he call AEW? The Pissant T-shirt company, right? And he also mentioned the fact in an interview, I think this was Ariel Helwani, this was like years ago. And he was like, oh yeah, they beat our developmental system, right? Like, good for them, downplaying NXT, right? Even though we all know NXT is truly, they're not a developmental system. They're a third brand.
Ethan Page is down there. And like, no, sure, he can grow and evolve, but he's not a developmental talent.
No, he's not. That's what I mean, man. He's like, they beat our developmental system. So again, man, Triple H talking in circles and trying to spin things in his own freaking narrative,
and mirrors,
right?
Man. Again, like, I'm telling you how much it mirrors reality. Look at what's going on. It's smoke and mirrors, and it's bullshit.
And that little Pissant T-shirt company has truly been pretty stiff competition with that developmental system. At one point though, Triple H, when does that Pissant T-shirt company start to gain closer and closer towards SmackDown? Because that's honestly where it's headed for how lower.
I'll make a bold statement, man. I'm going to make a bold statement. 2 years. Give it 2 years. I don't know if they, as far as if we're talking about ratings, if they'll, significantly surpass WWE. Mm-hmm. But they're going to be right there with them,
absolutely
up there in the million, 800,000.
That's my point.
Yeah,
that's exactly my point. Now, listen, man. Granted, is SmackDown most likely going to surpass over 1 million this week? Yeah, probably, man. But you see the trajectory to where, on SmackDown, they were on the cusp of 3 million, and they went down to 2. Then eventually they're on the cusp of 1 million. You see the pattern to where eventually, it's gonna fluctuate. It's gonna go up and down, right? You know, there's gonna be weeks to where, you know, SmackDown will pull in a 1.2, maybe a 1.3. But give it time, man, to, like you just said, Brian, give it another year or two. They will hardly be at the cusp of trying to get to 1 million.
It'd be negligible. It's not even worth talking about. You know,
it's not even going to be worth talking about. And guess who's going to be right on their ass? Maybe at around 500, 600, possibly 700. If AEW can also right their wrongs and they continue to improve.
Yeah.
Guess who's going to be right there with them? It's going to be that little pissant T-shirt company that you were like, oh yeah, it's their developmental system, right? Yeah, good for them. Little pat on the back, pretty much just an FU to AEW, right? And listen, AEW, look, they've lost half of their audience since they debuted. They're also, you know, someone that we're not just going to just glamour and just give all the high praises to, because they've had their issues for a very, very long time, and their numbers also prove that. But now more than ever, you're starting to see more of the effort being put in with the AEW product. You're starting to see the little things that are not so minor in professional wrestling that AEW is doing rather than what WWE is not doing. That's the difference. And eventually, people that are already catching on to the WWE product, people are going to catch on more and more to what the little things that AEW is doing and more. And if AEW can just continue to pick up that ball that's fumbled, that it was fumbled by WWE and Triple H, if they could pick up that ball and run it into the end zone, then the sky's, no pun intended to Sasha Banks, but the sky's the limit, bro.
Yeah,
the sky's the fucking limit.
Exactly. Yeah.
So that is it, man.
I do want to close because I did want to mention this too, and it's just really it's a bullshit nothing, but I got to give a shout out to my man Claudio Castagnoli. I say this in all sincerity, and I think he could have maybe arguably been a bigger star in WWE. You know, when you think about like the world's strongest man or whatever, like pound for pound, that dude may be the strongest human being on the fucking planet. Like Jesus Christ, dude. Just shout out to what that man can do. I mean, it's fucking unbelievable. Like, God damn.
Yeah, no,
I don't know if I'm just he wrestled Orange Cassidy this past.
Oh yeah, no, I saw the match, man. Yeah, no, that's I mean, shoot, I've seen it even in his days in WWE too.
Yeah,
I mean, we've seen it, of course, with his massive feat of strength. Yeah, the dude's a freak. The dude's an absolute freak, man, for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. So Blood and Guts is next week, man. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be in Greensboro, North Carolina. I wasn't able to make the trip. I would have loved to, but we will be definitely tuning in. It's definitely going to be a good show. Everybody's going to deliver. All the performers are going to do what they're told to do. It's how they are altering WWE Survivor Series, right? And War Games to where now we turn over to WWE. Now WWE's backs are going to be up against the wall. And now fans are going to say, well, what you got, man? So everything that WWE is most likely going to do that possibly could be very underwhelming, because we've seen a lot of very underwhelming War Games matches, right? Some good moments, right? The women have done their part, right? But if we are truly honest with ourselves for what AEW is potentially going to do compared to the creativity of what WWE has planned as far as Survivor Series, man, people are going to catch on and say, man, AEW, they got something going. WWE, they're not doing the little things anymore. And that's the most important thing long term, man. And hopefully AEW continues to do that. They continue to put WWE's backs up against the wall, and maybe, just maybe, that company can finally wake up. But probably not, honestly. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. This was another episode of the Ruthless Talk podcast. This was episode number 13 of season number 9. We appreciate you guys tuning in. As always, you guys see the banner down below. Make sure you guys follow us on Instagram and TikTok. That is Ruthless_Talk. You guys can check us out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, as well as on YouTube. Thank you guys once again for getting us to 500 subscribers on YouTube. We appreciate you guys very much. Continuing to hit milestones as well on TikTok, as well as on Instagram as well. And once again, before I send this off to Brian, man, just once again to everybody listening, this challenge is still up in the air. I want everybody to go up to a relative, a best friend, your neighbor across the street, a coworker, and go ask to see if they can name 5 wrestlers that debuted in the last 10 years. That's everybody's homework for everybody's that's listening or watching this episode. So would love to hear your guys' responses from that as well. Of course, stay notified as far as all of our episodes. Make sure you stay tuned for next week for more content to come. Brian, final thoughts, man.
Final thoughts, man. I'll go back to, a couple years ago, maybe to around the time Triple H maybe was coming into that role of head creative, right? And y'all viewers, if you've been with us for a while, or you can go back and check out some of our older episodes. And I'll be the first, like that. One of my biggest gripes with AEW back then was, there were just banger match after banger match, right? Nothing more than that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Fast forward 2 years, and how the tables have turned, man. So I say all that to just shout out to everybody in AEW for staying the course. The wrestlers, the men and the women, the production crew, Tony Khan. Thank y'all. I mean, because y'all are righting the ship and getting back to what professional wrestling used to be. And a couple quick shout outs again. We talk about wrestling characters and whatever. Stokely Hathaway, Don Callis, as far as managers, and they're killing it, man. And I don't know if you all saw this past Wednesday, the Don Callis family, Briscoe is going to be joining them pretty soon. That could be pretty interesting. And you see he's trying to get the Bucks. I don't think it's going to go that way. There's a couple that's going to be a feud. The Bucks with a couple other people, you could probably fill in the blanks against the Don Callis family, and I think that's where they're going to be heading, and that could be really great.
Interesting, man. Very interesting. Yeah. A hot take to end this episode.
Because I was like, are the Bucks going to join and maybe they do initially, but I'm telling you, they're going to turn face. There's people that are going to be coming back. They got some friends. Yep, I'm there for it. Yeah.
Interesting. Very, very interesting, man. Very, very interesting. Once again, man, thank you guys so much for tuning in. That is going to do it for today's episode, everybody. My name is James Porcelli.
I'm Brian Thomas.
Until next time, there will be a next time. Your boys are signing off saying salute.
Peace out.
And take care, everybody. Top guys, we are